So I've always noticed that throughout my life, there's always been people who have lots and lots of confidence. Like those people who go outside and they're just full of energy. They always get exactly what they want. They push for it. They're always telling you what they think is right and how that's the right thing, and somehow you always end up agreeing with them. On the other hand, there's people who are very reserved. People who are afraid to express themselves. It's like they're afraid of themselves more than they are of you. They apologize for every single thing that they do, for every single little misstep, and it's like every time they even say the wrong word or they stutter a bit, it's like they just started World War III. I just was always really intrigued with these people. One, because the people who are really confident just inspire me. They push me to become a better person. I always end up gravitating towards them and trying to learn from them and understand why they are the way that they are. And every time I see those nervous people, I'm always paying attention to them as well, because I feel like they're just a few steps away of becoming really confident themselves. But there's something in them that hold themselves back. I've been spending a long time thinking about this. And my theory for why this happens is that one person understands themselves and cares about themselves, while the other person is at war with themselves. There's a quote that I think is very important for this one. If there is no enemy within, then the enemy outside can do us no harm. I noticed that the one thing about the people who are very confident of themselves are that they always fully accept themselves. If the confident person has an unconventional thought, like maybe you should pour in the milk before the cereal, they accept it. They don't need to talk about it. But if they want to, or are put in a situation where they should, or someone asks them to, they will do so unapologetically. They'll just express themselves and be proud of it, because that's who they are. And as a result, it's like they understand that the people around them will accept them as much as they accept themselves, and that makes everything okay. Versus the ones who are afraid to be themselves, the people who are nervous. Whenever they get angry, they get in their own heads. I shouldn't be angry about this. There's no point in being angry. They start blaming themselves for how they feel. They start blaming their emotions. This is where I realized that most of the problems begin. Imagine your emotions are like the rainfall, or like a hurricane, or like an earthquake. You would never blame the earth for quaking. You would never blame clouds for pouring rain on you. It simply happens, and you accept it. This is what the nervous people need to understand, is that what you're feeling can never be wrong. What can be wrong is the actions you take after that. Now let's dig deeper into that first phrase a little bit. What you're feeling can never be wrong. And that's what I want to tackle here, is that emotions are simply just some subconscious engine that happens within your brain. It just pops out at you. I'm angry. This made me mad. I'm sad. Why am I sad? There's nothing you can do about it. It just happens, you know? And to attack yourself for it is to do nothing than to just tell yourself that you are just not trustworthy. And honestly, there are few things worse in life than not being able to trust yourself. What I want you guys to do is treat your feelings like homework. There are 3 things you can do when you have homework. 1, you can fight it. 2, you can pretend that you don't have it and just ignore it. And 3, you could just deal with it, accept it, and do it. So let's tackle the first one. If you decide that you want to fight your problems, this is where the biggest issues come in. You begin to hate school, and then nobody wins there. When you decide that you want to fight against your feelings and you want to fight against all these things that are happening in your brain, you don't hate school, you hate yourself. Then they start second guessing themselves, and all of a sudden they start questioning whether they should even go to their friend's house or if they should even sit on the couch when they're together. That's one of the cores to a lack of self-confidence. And the second choice is that you pretend you don't have homework. And I don't need to tell you guys that not pretending that you don't have homework when you have homework is a bad thing. When you pretend you don't have homework, it sits in the back of your mind, gnawing at you, stressing you out subtly. Like saying, hey man, you should do me real quick. You're already committed to forgetting and trying to procrastinate, but an elephant never forgets. We're not elephants, but we're mammals, so I'm sure it's like the same thing. But the point is that when you're procrastinating, you want to forget that you have homework, but you won't forget. You can't forget. But you're so committed to it, so committed to just doing something else and trying not to care about your homework, that you do the only thing that you possibly can, which is try to distract yourself. And when you pretend that you don't have homework, your deadlines get closer. When you pretend you don't have those feelings, the end of your life gets closer and closer. And you spend more and more days not accepting how you really feel, not seeing the things that you really want to chase, and accepting the dreams that you have. You end up just running out of time. That's why you need to do and choose the third option, which is simply to accept the fact that you have homework to do. The fact that you have feelings inside of you. The more times you figure out why you're feeling mad, sad, happy, more and more your emotions will become in tune with yourself. And you'll, deep down inside, become a more well-oiled machine. Now instead, when you feel mad, you won't start thinking, I shouldn't be mad. This is horrible. This is bad. Maybe you think, I'm mad. Now, what should I do about it? Obviously, something needs to be fixed. And this is exactly where confidence is born. When you finally accept your thoughts and feelings, and then they become in tune with your actions. The difference between the confident person and someone who's getting to know themselves is that the confident person doesn't ask themselves if it's okay for them to feel or think a certain way anymore. They accept it. They accept themselves fully. And they've done it so often that it's simply in their nature to do so. So they immediately move on to the next step, which is action. And that brings me on to the very next point, which is there's only wrong actions. Say your boss tells you off or something like that. Maybe you mess up the cash register and he calls you out and he tells you that you're wrong. And then he tells you to your face that you're stupid and out of your mind. How could you do this? In front of all your coworkers. Now you start to feel angry. Now, is the right thing to do there to call your boss a piece of shit and tell him off just straight to his face in front of everybody how dumb he is and how wrong he is about everything that he's ever thought about his entire life? No. If you want your job still, you probably shouldn't do that. Say this is the first time your boss has ever done that. And you choose to not do anything at all. That's also not the right solution. Because if he starts calling you names and he starts getting used to calling you those things, this will lead you down to a way worse path. Starting with the fact that your boss no longer respects you. And if he no longer respects you, then he doesn't trust you at his work. And if he doesn't trust you as a work, you're going to get fired anyway. So by not standing up for yourself, you're also leading yourself down a path to eventually get fired. Eventually losing your job. Eventually losing whatever is important to you at that workplace. So the solution is to simply just tell him right there, I understand that I messed up, but please don't use those words with me. If that's a little too confrontation to, if that's a little, if that's a little too confrontational for you, then simply maybe pull him to the side. You don't want us to do it in front of everybody. Hey, boss, may I talk to you? And then there you just tell him face to face, I understand I messed up, and then just say the same thing. What makes you angry doesn't always make sense. And that's completely okay. We would all feel the same way if we were put into that situation. But if someone doesn't hold the door open for you, that doesn't mean you need to sock them in the face. If someone tries to make out your girlfriend in front of you, maybe that's a more appropriate time to do so. Everybody else would feel angry in that situation, and to demean it and to belittle your own emotions does nothing for you. You simply need to accept it. Just pick and choose your battles wisely and how you approach them. That's the difference between a person who accepts themselves and a person who struggles with their own battle with themselves. Get to know yourself. Get to know the things that make you angry, the things that tick you off, the things that make you sad, the things that make you happy, the things that make you excited. And get comfortable with that. Because your relationship with yourself should be the best relationship you have at all. You are your own spokesperson. And if you don't like yourself, then who else can? Right? You have to love yourself. And when you start to get better at accepting yourself, being able to sell yourself, understanding yourself, and knowing all your strengths and your weaknesses and becoming comfortable with them, that's when your real life can finally begin. When you can interact with the world without feeling fear. When you can chase the dreams you want to achieve without worrying about how other people feel about what you want to do. At the end of the day, what other point can there be than to appreciate this opportunity we have to even be able to experience life? Chase what you want to do and spend time with those you love. We are literally stardust in the universe, expressing itself as humans for a short time. So express yourself to the fullest, for the good of you, for the good of me, for the good of everyone else around you. Thanks. Thanks again for making it to the end of this video, guys. I know this one took a very long time to come out. It's been, I'd say probably 4.5 months since the last one, maybe 3.5, I don't know. But yeah, if you guys enjoyed the video, enjoy the content, and you appreciate this stuff, please like and subscribe. If you like it, it really strangely helps the algorithm, puts it all together, allows me to get searched easier. It doesn't make any sense to me at all, but it does to YouTube. So I would really appreciate it if you gave me one of those. Subscribe as well so that you can get more notifications when my videos come out. Since they don't come out that often, it'll be nice when you get a message and like, whoa, ENTO video. But other than that, thank you so much again, guys. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.